all in good taste opens your eyes on the world of tomatoes. You won't believe the variety available. At 9, Country at Home begins tonight's Design at 9 with a country garden. Then at 9:30, Design at 9 continues with Interiors by Design. Host Chris Casson-Madden has tips for giving a new kitchen that old world feel. And at 10, it's the premiere presentation of At Home with Kenny Loggins. Come along as the pop star opens the doors for a rare look inside his private world. It's all tonight on HGTV, Home and Garden Television.
You're watching HGTV Daytime, right here on Home and Garden Television.
Hi, I'm Ron Hazelton, the house doctor. Well, welcome once again to The House Doctor, the show that helps you fix up your home or apartment. Now, on today's program, I'm going to show you how to balance a wobbly ceiling fan, and I'll give you a crash course in buying and using rasps. But first, when a viewer wanted help in weatherproofing his leaky front door, well, we paid him a house call. So, Steve, does this happen every single time it rains?
Yes, it does.
Even with a light rain?
Even with a light rain, it doesn't come down as hard, but during a good storm, it'll actually seep down at the bottom of the door, through the bottom of the door.
Well, this is Steve, and we're just inside his front door, as you can see here. He's telling me about a leak problem he's having, water coming in through the bottom of the door down here, and I guess this is caused some damage on your floor here, right?
Yeah, the hardwood floor has started to buckle a little bit from the water damage, from the water coming in.
Okay. Then, of course, we've got some mildew on this inside panel here. I don't know if this is related or not, but what we're going to do is do a little detective work, first of all, try to find out exactly where this water is coming in, and then see if we can come up with a solution to stop it. Now, I've got Steve outside with a garden hose. What I'm going to have him do is kind of play that hose back and forth across the bottom of the door here and up the side, see if we can see where this water is coming in. Okay, Steve, go ahead. Start by putting the hose across the bottom of the door. Oh, yeah. See what we've got coming through right here? Look at this. Look at this. All right, now take it up the side. Now look at that. Oh, my gosh. It's pouring out. Okay, that's good. Stop. I think this whole problem started out here on the outside of this door. Now, you notice there's no overhang here, no porch or anything. So the water, first of all, the wind blows in from this direction very often. The water hits this door, sheets down here, and when it gets to the bottom, it simply runs right underneath like this. And because the weather stripping on the bottom of this door is sort of like this one right here, that is two pieces of metal that kind of interlock like this, okay for keeping out drafts, but doesn't do anything to keep out water. And we got a second problem over here. This is a vinyl weather stripping that someone has put on not too long ago, but it's pretty much useless. Let me show you what I mean. This strike plate right here, it's loose. All right, so when I close the door here, you see, it doesn't, the latch doesn't keep the door in contact with the vinyl right here. So there's a gap of almost 1/4 inch right here, makes this pretty much worthless. Now, the first thing we're going to do is secure this strike plate so that this door will stay closed in the proper position. The screws that were in there were stripped out. So what I'm going to do is use some 3-inch screws here. These are long enough to go through the door jamb and into the framing. Okay, that's nice and solid. That's giving me a good solid stop now on the door. The next thing I want to do, though, is take off this old weather stripping right here. This vinyl has gotten a little bit hard. I also want to make sure that I've got nice, even contact all the way down the door with the door in this new position. So, begin by taking out these screws here. All right, here we go. We've got one of these about every 6 inches, it looks like. Well, here's our new piece of weather stripping. Now, it looks just about the same as the old one, except this vinyl is nice and soft. We're going to close the door. We want this door in the closed and latched position. And we'll put this up here now. Now, Steve, what I want you to do is to apply some gentle pressure toward the door. What's really important right here is that we get a good seal between this vinyl and the door. And the way to get that, when you put it up, is to have someone sort of press it against the door. And then automatically it'll position itself. Now, we'll attach this, again, about once every 6 inches with these, looks like number 6 screws. We put our weather stripping on the door jambs here and up at the top. Now it's time to deal with the bottom of the door. Now this is an old threshold down here called a hook-type threshold. It's probably put down in the 30s. They call it that because it's shaped sort of like the hook. I'll show you that in more detail in just a second. Now on the bottom of the door over here is a strip of metal also with a hook shape. So when you close the door, these two sort of engage each other. Now that keeps out some of the air, but it certainly doesn't make the bottom of this door airtight nor watertight. So what we're going to do is take these off right now and replace them with something that'll do a better job of keeping that water out of here, hopefully. There, all the screws are out. Let's sort of ease this out of position now. All right, now we've got a little bit of dry rot down here. Looks like on the end of this board right here. You see that? This is the subflooring under here, and it's rotted back almost 2 inches here. This is what's left of a floor joist down here. So I think to begin with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off these rotted ends here, pretty much even with our oak flooring. So let's just take our saw, start here in the middle. I'll cut first this way and then back that way. Stay tuned as I finish weatherproofing the entryway, and later in the show, balancing a wobbly ceiling fan.
Ace Hardware, the place with the helpful hardware folks.
When you need a paint that'll come through with flying colors, head to the folks in the red vest, because Ace quality paints offer the one-coat coverage and durability you need to do the job right. That's another reason Ace is a place with the helpful hardware folks.
Finally, a polished brass finish that holds up under siege. New brilliance for the kitchen. From Delta, it's guaranteed to shine for life. Delta, the faucet.
Great homes start with good plans, high hopes, big dreams. And when you're ready to turn those blueprints into 4 walls and a roof, there's only one address, HGTV's Dream Builders. Host Scott Morgan shows you the trends, styles, and techniques today's most innovative builders are using. After all, you're not just building a house, you're building a dream.
Well, this is our dream home as to what we wanted.
Dream Builders, Thursday night at 10:30 on HGTV, Home and Garden Television.
We've gotten rid of most of that dry rotted wood. This is pretty solid right here now. This is actually the subflooring. The problem is it's not supported. It used to be lying on the top of this joist right here. Now it's just sort of hanging there. So I've cut a piece of 2x4. I'm going to go downstairs in the basement and install this underneath the ends of the subfloor. We're down here in the basement now. Here's that piece of 2x4. I'm going to reach up in here. It's kind of tight quarters. Okay, get it in position now. And I've got some 2.5-inch screws here. We'll go ahead and attach this. To make up for the thickness of this 3/4-inch subflooring, I'm going to take this strip of 3/4-inch exterior ply and drop it in there. That'll bring me up just about level at the top of the old subflooring. Not quite, but close enough for us. This is our new threshold. It's made of aluminum, and it's called a saddle threshold because of the way it's shaped right here. Only one small problem. It's about, as you can see, 3/4 of an inch narrower than our old threshold. And because this has got to be positioned, somewhere about right here, because the center of this has to be into the center of the door, we're left with about a 3/4 of an inch gap or space right here. Here's how we're going to handle that. We'll start by putting this piece of 1/2-inch plywood in here. I want this surface level or flush with this one, and it's a little bit low, especially here in the center. So we'll take some strips of roofing paper. Probably going to need about 2 or 3 of these. Actually, probably about 4. And since this is a little bit lower in the center than on the edges, these pieces I'll cut a little bit shorter, like that. Okay, that should just about do it. Then we'll reinstall our piece of wood here. Okay, now we're perfectly flush. Okay, that's exactly what we want. And we'll go ahead and attach that with some screws. Now, this is a piece of flat aluminum bar stock that I got at the Home Improvement Center. And this is what I'm going to use to extend the width of that threshold. It's going to actually go right here on top of this top step. But before we put that down, I'm going to take some clear silicone and run a nice heavy bead along here. This is anything that is exposed to the weather out here, I'm going to seal so that there's no chance of any water running back up underneath this and causing some more dry rot like that we just repaired. Okay, just put a little bit more here on the way across. And go and get some up in the corner there. Move up in this corner. Good. All right. Now, we'll just set this in place. Made a couple marks earlier for position. There they are right there. Now I'm going to attach this in place with some flathead stainless steel screws, rust resistant. And what I was doing just a moment ago is creating a countersink so that these heads will be flush with the top of this aluminum bar. I've put a second strip of wood back here because I'm going to place another aluminum bar on the inside of this threshold. You notice, though, this bar is quite a bit thicker than that first one that we put down. That's because these steps out here are slightly higher than this floor. What that meant was the old threshold was sort of tipped to the inside, so any water that hit on top had a tendency to run indoors. You know, I've drawn my lines here. Let's go ahead and get this in position. There we go. And once again, I'm going to attach this in place with stainless steel screws. Now this is the back of our new threshold, and I'm putting some silicone on what will be the outside edge, even though there's this vinyl weather stripping or beading right in here. I want to make sure again that we have a very good water seal on the outside. So this will slip in position here on top of the two bars that we put in. Okay, can I get this straight? There we go. I'm going to align the back of this flush with the edge of that rear bar so it's clean on the back. Okay, and you see the silicone squishing out there. We got a nice tight seal. And I'll go ahead and attach this with some rust-proof screws. Now this is the old hook-type weather stripping that's on the bottom of the door. That's what we're looking at right here. This is what would engage that threshold. I'm going to take this off because A, we don't want it, and B, I'm probably going to have to trim this door down a bit. Now the final step in making our door weather-tight is to install this U-shaped door bottom. This is made of aluminum, and then there's a vinyl gasket or seal right here on the bottom. Now this requires a half-inch clearance between the bottom of the door and the top of the threshold. So Steve, close the door if you would. Let me see what we've got here. All the way, all right? Okay, now we've got, about 1/4 of an inch, so we need about twice that amount. So we'll take our compass right here and lay it out in our ruler, and I'm going to adjust it until I've got a half-inch between the point and the pencil. Then we'll take the compass, lay it, the point part on top of the threshold, and the pencil up against the door, and scribe our cut line. Now to make sure that we get a straight cut right here, I've clamped this straight edge parallel to that line that we drew just a moment ago. Now that's going to ride right along the edge of the base plate here on the saw. So we can just go ahead now and cut this off. I'm going to go ahead now and slip on the U-shaped door bottom. Notice I've cut a small notch out right here in the end. That's so that we can clear that weather stripping that's on the side of the door. So we want to align this with the edge like that, shove it up, and I'm going to wait to put the screws in until we've rehung the door. As you can see, we've gone ahead and rehung our door, and what I've done is pushed this door bottom gently downward so it's got good contact with the threshold all the way across, and we've secured it in place with some stainless steel rust-proof screws. Now it's time for the great water test. Well, I guess it's the moment of truth, isn't it? Okay, Steve's to the outside of the door. Steve, go ahead and start directing some water on the door, will you? All right, now, as you remember, by this time, before we started, we would have had a large puddle of water in here. So everything seems to be working out okay. Looks like all of our seals are fitting, and we have a dry door. Now, we spent about $45 here on materials. That included all the threshold pieces and that aluminum stock. If you had to have, let's say, this section of floor replaced here because of this kind of water damage, have you priced that out? Any idea what that would cost?
I think it's about $500 to replace something this size.
Okay. So we saved about $450 here by catching this when we did.
Yes.
All right. Okay, great. Listen, thank you for having us over.
All right. It's great.
Appreciate it. If you've got a leaky door bottom, you got a way to fix it. Next, do you have a ceiling fan that's dangerously out of balance? Well, learn the easy way to fix it.
How do you do? Have you seen the new 99 Pontiac Grand Ams at my son-in-law Bob's dealership?
This week at Bob Morris Pontiac, lease a brand new 99 Grand Am for just $199 a month.
Is that right, Bob?
Yes, $199 a month for a 99 Grand Am at Bob Morris Pontiac.
Are they stripped?
No way. These cars have air conditioning, automatic, cassette, defogger, and much more for just $199 a month.
Better hurry.
To Bob Morris Pontiac, Center Ridge at the Turnpike Overpass.
In North Ridgeville, And don't forget to ask for my cookies.
The 1998 VH1 Fashion Awards featuring Courtney Cox, Rupert Everett, Selma Hayek, Anne Hayes, Sheila McDermott, Claudia Schiffer, Wesley Snipes, Michael Stipe, and more. With live performances by Janet Jackson, Leonard Kravitz, Madonna, Smashing Pumpkins. Hosted by Ellen DeGeneres. The 1998 VH1 Fashion Awards. Tonight's music and fashion blow you away. Tuesday, October 27th at 9, 8 Central.
Brought to you in part by Naked Furniture in Middleburg Heights.
Protect the body. Ignite the soul. The new Volvo S80.
Here's a concrete solution from H&C Concrete Stain. Spruce up worn concrete around your home by using a natural-looking concrete stain or clear sealer. Make it look new again and protect it from harmful elements. For other concrete solutions from H&C, call 1-800-TO-STAIN.
It's a faucet.
It's a filter.
It's a faucet.
It's a filter. Introducing the faucet with the water filter built right in. Faucet by Price Pfister. Filter by Teledyne Waterpick. It reduces chlorine and odor, so all that's left is great taste for a fraction of the cost of bottled water.
It's a faucet.
It's a filter. It's both. The filter faucet from Price Pfister.
Do you ever wonder what your kids are going to be when they grow up? No matter what your kids want to be, Swing and Slide safely helps them figure out their futures. Swing and Slide, the leader in wooden outdoor playground equipment. Available at Lowe's and other home improvement stores nationwide.
When fix-it problems hit you from out of the blue, trust the folks in the Red Vest. They've got shelves full of products and loads of ideas to fix any fix you're in. Because Ace is the place for the helpful hardware folks.
Safer than any car we've ever built. As thrilling as any car anyone's ever built. The new Volvo S80.
If you've got a fan that wobbles like this, it really could be dangerous. All that moving back and forth can produce metal fatigue, and someday this might actually come right down off the ceiling. So let's turn this off over here at the wall switch and find out what's causing this. One of the things that could cause a fan to wobble like this is if the pitch or tilt of the blades is inconsistent from one blade to the next. Now, here's how we can check that out. This is a yardstick. I'm going to lay this up here on the top of the blade. And in this case, let's put the 16-inch mark right here on this edge of the blade. Then with this yardstick, we'll measure down the distance from the ceiling. What is that? I think it's just about 5 inches, right? Okay. Now we're going to rotate the fan. One position like that. Put this in the same position the other blade was. Lay the yardstick back on top. Again, with the 16-inch mark on the edge of the fan. Go up here now and we'll measure down on this one. And here we've got almost 8 inches. So we've got a significant difference in tilt or pitch between these two blades. I'm going to check the rest of them now and see if there's more than one that may be inconsistent. This is a tool that I made up to correct the pitch on that blade. It's just simply a couple of pieces of wood, holes drilled through, and a couple of bolts with some wing nuts right here. I'll show you how we're going to use this. We're going to slip it right over the fan blade, all the way back to this metal bracket right here. That's what's twisted out of shape, okay? Get this in position, and then I'm going to tighten up the wing nuts down here. I've taped the yardstick to the top of the fan blade out here where we originally had it. Now, everything is in position here. This is clamped down that metal bracket. I'm going to begin to twist this very gently. There's always a risk when you do this that that metal bracket could snap because it is cast. So we're going to go very, very, very slowly, just a little bit at a time like this. This is giving me the leverage that I need to make the bend. And then come back over here with our ruler. Remember, we want to get around 7.5. Okay, we're almost there. We're at 7. Give it just a little bit more, very slowly. Okay, check it one more time. Yep, so we're going to see, and we're just about there, another 1/4 inch. The second cause of our problem could be that the blades are bent up or down. It's not a pitch thing, but simply whether the blades are coming out parallel to the floor or not. So let's check, again, with our yardstick here. I'll put the yardstick right up against the ceiling. We want to look at is this measurement right here. Now, on that blade, it looks like we're getting 11 inches. We rotate this. There's 11 inches. Rotate this again. Okay, here's the problem. See, this is only about 10 1/4 inches. This is going to have to be bent down. Let's check the last one here. And it's 11. So it's just this blade right here that's bent up too high. Now, using our homemade tool again, I'm going to bend this blade down toward the floor. Just a little bit like that. Always bend these very, very gently, very slowly. Now, let's take a measurement out here. We want 11, and that's what we've got. We've improved this quite a bit by correcting that pitch and bending that one blade down, but there's still a little bit of vibration in here, especially at this speed. So we've got one more way that we can smooth this out. These blades being out of balance can also cause the fan to wobble in much the same way as your car wheels can be out of balance, and that produces sort of a thumping sound on the inside. Now, the way to correct that is to add small counterweights like these. But the trick is to find out where to put these counterweights, and that's where this little plastic clip comes in. What you do is clip this on the edge of the fan and then turn it on. Move the clip to each blade and notice on which blade the fan has the least wobble. Then move the clip along the edge of the blade, in and out, until the wobble is eliminated. Peel the backing off the pressure-sensitive adhesive on the weight, and then place it in the center of the blade directly in line with the clip on the top. Then remove the temporary clip. This fan balancing kit is available in most hardware stores and home improvement centers. It costs about $1.50. Remember, a wobbling fan is not only an annoyance, but it can be dangerous. So for a few minutes of your time and a little bit of your money, it's easy to fix it. The surface forming tool, or surform tool as it's sometimes called, is a cross between a rasp and a plane. It's the tool you want to use if you want to remove a lot of wood stock very quickly. The way it works is it has a perforated plate on the bottom, and there are hundreds of sort of cup-shaped cutting edges right here. The idea is because of these holes or perforations, the shavings and sawdust go through and come out the backside rather than clogging up the space between the cutting surfaces. Now, this is the most probably common variety. It really is shaped quite a bit like a plane. Actually, I've had this one for years. The newer versions look more like this. This would be good for taking down the surface on a straight edge, like this one right here. Now, you see this line right here? It's about almost 3/16 of an inch down from the edge. Look how quickly I can take this material away with this tool. Now, this is also a tool that doesn't leave a very smooth finish necessarily, but it will remove stock extremely quickly, as you can see right here. Okay, I'm going to stop in just a second here. Let's just see how much you've taken away. Okay, see, I'm right down on the line right here. That's very, very quick, isn't it? Now, one technique in using this particular surface forming tool is if you want to remove stock very fast, you sort of set it at about a 30 to 40 degree angle to the wood like this. You can see how these deep grooves right here is taking the material away very, very rapidly. Then as you get down to the point you want, or the surface that you want, turn the surface forming tool so that it's more parallel, and that will give you a smoother cut, not taking off quite as much material. Now, this block plane does essentially the same job. Again, if you want to remove the stock quickly, you turn it at an angle to the surface. If you want to smooth it out, parallel, just like this. This would be good for getting into tight spots or when you just like the feel of a smaller plane. Now, this tool right here is actually more like a rasp. You see the bottom is actually curved. It would be ideal for removing stock if you wanted to create curved or rounded surfaces. For example, if you wanted to take the stock off on this corner right here, give us a nice soft curve, or if we were doing something that had more of a sculptured look, this is the tool that we'd want to use for that. There you go. There's also a curved tool that's designed primarily for getting around curves, either on the inside of a curve like this, or on the outside of a curve like this. This small curve shaver is also an excellent paint removal tool. This This round tool is used for enlarging or smoothing holes or for removing stock from very tight inside curves. Now, while these tools can't be sharpened, replacement blades are easy to install, and they cost between $2 and $5. Now, like any cutting tool, make sure that you store these properly. That means never storing them on top of the blade like this. Always lay them on their side or hang them up. And never throw them in your toolbox. If you do that, you'll guarantee a short life to your blade.
For my everyday paint colors and combinations, I didn't just pick the colors. I picked the colors that go with the colors you pick, and they're available at Sears and Kmart.
Volvos have always forced other cars to be safer. This one will force them to be better. The new Volvo S80.
Need a hand getting up? You don't have to hire a builder to get dependable bat safety. Plumpack makes independence easy with the interlock handlebar system. And everything you need is included for a custom grab bar installation. You really can do it yourself with Plumpack.
Safer than any car we've ever built. As thrilling as any car anyone's ever built. The new Volvo S80.
Spreads like buttercream, covers like royal icing. My everyday paint colors and combinations make decorating a piece of cake, and they're available at Sears and at Kmart.
It's a world unlike anything you've ever seen before. It's a blend of quality, service, and style. Come, enjoy Harrison's very special Leather in Autumn celebration. Here you'll find the best quality leather in the newest fashions, all perfect for any room, in any home. This is where it all begins. Harrison's Fine Home Furnishings, the last hidden treasure in home furnishings and interior design.
If you're a homeowner looking to save money on your current monthly mortgage, or you'd like to finance the purchase of a home, call Fidelity Funding today. Or if you're a homeowner paying $1,000 a month or more in credit card and other bills, Fidelity Funding can help reduce your monthly payments by up to 1/2 and maybe even get you some extra cash. So whether you want to purchase a home, refinance your current mortgage, or consolidate your monthly debt payments, even if you've had some past credit problems, call Fidelity Funding at 1-800-269-4100.
Now, I'm in the process of attaching this shelf to the edge of this cabinet here, and I've run into a problem that may occur for you, and that is I've got to have the hole up almost close to the bottom of the shelf. I don't have enough room because the body of the drill is hitting the bottom of the shelf. How am I going to solve this? Well, I got a great idea for you. Now, this is what's called a flexible drill shaft. We just put it right on the drill the same way we would any normal drill. Granted, this is a little bit longer, and you can see that it is indeed quite flexible. Now, this process also requires a drill bit with a hex end on it. I find that these are available now at most home improvement stores. And what we've now got is a drill that can operate at right angles like this. So all I need to do is to position this up here or exactly where I want it, press on it, and drill my hole.
Well, thanks for watching. Now it's your turn to get out there, roll up your sleeves, and tackle some of those jobs that you may have been putting off. And please join me next time. I'll have more tips and suggestions to make your next home improvement job just a little bit easier. See you then.